Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Be With Me, 7 Minutes of Biblical Wonder. And we are in episode 268. We're in Luke chapter 12, and we are going to center today on the wisdom that was given to a 3-year-old. Luke chapter 12, verse 54. He also said to the crowds, "When you see a cloud rising in the west, you say at once, a shower is coming." And so it happens. And when you see the south wind blowing, you say, "There will be scorching heat." And it happens. You hypocrites. You know how to interpret the appearance of earth and sky, but why do you not know how to interpret the present time? That's half of our passage today. And here we see a picture of, amateur weathermen reading the sky, reading the winds, reading the clouds, reading location, presence of certain things, velocity, and adding all that up and predicting the future, the near future, sort of the semi-present, if you will. And so it happens is the idea here. So this is not a passage about the second coming, when Jesus comes and trumpets blow and comes down from heaven on a cloud or whatever. This is about what's happening now. So there's an interpretation of correctness of earth and sky here, and he praises them and says, "Yeah, you can do this. I've given you skills for this. And why do you not know?" But there's a condemnation in here as well. Why do you not know how to interpret the present time spiritually? And just a couple of things that I think they're missing. This is not in the passage, but I think this is kind of the subtext where, hey, Jesus is here. The kingdom has come. Remember Mary and Martha, and Mary was praised for spending time and sitting at the feet of Jesus and listening to his teaching. Or how about the fact that you're in trouble? How about the conversations with your soul? You might be wrong in some of this stuff regarding sin and punishment and death. And you guys got to fear the right thing. Fear the Lord. Don't fear those that can kill the body. Fear the Lord that can permanently punish your body. There's treasure at stake. Don't be treasuring the wrong thing. And then I was thinking about that passage in Luke 10:23. We talked about it, episode 248, where Jesus is saying, "Hey, I'm giving you gold right now. I'm giving you the good stuff." Prophets and people from old long to hear what you're hearing at this very, very instant. And so pay attention. I'm giving you the good stuff right now. But in this passage, I think there is an element of condemnation, and that is you should be able to do better. And the title of this talk is "You Can Do Better," and that comes from, I was talking to on the phone to a mother that I admire, and she was having a 3-year-old at her ankles, and the kid was acting up inappropriately. And the mother says to the 3-year-old, and I hear this on the telephone, she says, "You can do better." So she's calling a 3-year-old saying, get a grip. You have the resources to do better. And I think that's what Jesus is saying in this. Look, you can do this with regards to the weather. I've given you enough information when clouds come from a certain direction or winds come from a certain direction, and you can predict the future. You can assess the situation correctly. So I think Jesus is saying you can hear this call right now. You can see the Savior right now. He's standing right in front of you. Then the passage continues. "And why do you not judge for yourselves what is right? As you go with your accuser before the magistrate, make an effort to settle with him on the way, lest he drag you to the judge, and the judge hand you over to the officer, and the officer put you in prison. And I tell you, you will never get out until you have paid the very last penny." So judge correctly and settle up now. And I think this is not just settling up with our fellow man. I think it's settling up with God, doing this correctly. So let me bring this home. Clearly, we don't understand everything about God. We're on episode 268, and we've got more to go. So we don't understand all about God, but you, understand enough to make decisions, to move forward, to make assessments. So you don't understand everything, but you understand some things, and the things are enough to make actionable. In other words, I'm telling you, dear listener, thank you for tuning in, you can do better. It appears that the Lord has given people faith enough or information enough sufficient to the task, because he condemns them and says, you're hypocrites here. I think Jesus is saying to his audience, you can do better. And I think by inference, I think he's telling us this. Now, certainly it's going to require faith. It always requires faith. Until we get to heaven, when we see everything, say, oh, yeah, we were right about this and we were wrong about this. In the meantime, it requires faith. So if you are blind, then listen. Then use the other resources that he has. Or if you're deaf, then see. If your heart is hard, then ask for softness. If you're tempted, then use the escape hatch, 1 Corinthians 10:13. If you're estranged, then come home. If you're unreconciled with God, then reconcile with him. Or if you're in a dispute with your family members or your brothers and sisters in the church, then resolve it. Today is the day. My brother sent me a text saying there was somebody in his neighborhood who was, quote unquote, perfectly healthy, and 7 days later he was dead from a virus. So really? Think, well, that's not me. Well, this guy was healthy, and are you in charge of your numbers of days? No, of course not. None of us are. So when is the day to do this? I think it's today, and I think the Lord is telling us we can do better. I think he's calling us higher. So when Jesus says, settle with your accuser, let's make ourselves right with God. If that's requiring faith, let's do it with faith. If it requires human interaction, let's do it because we don't know how many days we have left. So, conclusion today, let's go out there and let's do better. Thanks for listening.